Okay, this one is segment 35, or episode 35 rather, and it is called Expression Salons as Modern Commons. And what I mean by this, what's a common? It's a shared space for food and for sound and for storytelling. And all of the arts tell some kind of a story. And when you throw food in, you got a party. So that's what we're doing here. This expression salon, or this Berkshire's Culture Salon, is a kind of a modern commons. And it's kind of like a hybrid thing where it's about analog connecting people with each other, but we've also got digital stuff going on too. We've got amplification, and we've got controls, and we've got effects. It's a real analog digital affair. It's a combination job. So for those people who are saying, I only want to be an analog person, I don't want to do digital, have the other people who say, I only want to do digital, I have no use for analog. Well, tough. We're going to do both. And the only sensible thing to be in the world is a combination of analog and digital, because after all, computers are digital, but human beings are analog. We do not respond very well to a time-varying voltage unless you want to get electrocuted. So, bits and bytes, they still need to be converted into something we could relate to. So I think what this does is it's showing creativity as a behavior, not as a brand, not as a platform, not as a thing you're doing to gain an audience, because let's face it, if you're 50, 60, or 70 years old and you're not making a living as an artist, you're probably not going to. You're probably having to do something else. Most of the creative people in the world teach. Musicians give lessons, artists give lessons. So this is not really about creating a brand. It's really about just creating because you want to and it feels good. And I have one very specific thing I want to talk about. I think we're entering a new age. The end of the specific and the beginning of the general. As I've mentioned before, people who are overly specialized and narrow, they'll be the first ones that get replaced. We're entering the age of general because AI gives you such a tremendous amount of leverage that as we reach the point where we have artificial general intelligence, which is coming, human beings will be able to do a lot with it that they couldn't do without it. So for those analog people who are saying, I don't need digital, I don't need computers, I don't need AI, well, guess what? They're wrong. They do. Because we're going to be so leveraged by this technology that we're going to be able to do incredible things that we couldn't do before. For example, I got a little drummer here. For the musicians among us, this is not just a drum loop. I made a drum loop that was 128 measures long, which is longer than your attention span. So it doesn't really repeat. It's a drummer, he's keeping the beat, he's not losing it. Oh, he, she. This is digital, man. Non-repeating digital. It's not just a 2 or 4 measure drum loop, it's 128 measures. And if I fade it out and fade it back in, or even if I repeated 128 measures, you don't remember. I don't even always start on beat 1. I don't even necessarily play the same chord 4 beats. By the way, if you heard a little bit of reverb or echo there, that's digital too. So I got an analog guitar. Got analog fingers. Digital drummer. Digital reverb. You got to be both analog and digital in today's world. It wouldn't be worth the drummer's while to come into the show and let me turn them on and off for only like a minute here or there. If you want a very intermittent drummer, you gotta, use a machine as a slave, not a human being as a slave. It's just not respectful enough. Just remember, narrow and specific. Now, most purists would say, what on earth is he using a digital drummer for? And people who used to say, I'm not going to use any reverb. You find a guitarist alive today and ask them whether or not they use reverb. They all use reverb. They all use reverb. Even classical guitarists use reverb. Especially classical guitarists use reverb. When they play a note, it fades away so quickly. I don't want it. I don't want it to fade away quickly. I want it to hang out and last like a platform, like you could do something with, like some chewy bread that you could dip in onion soup. Be a hybrid. Be analog digital and use AI. It's too powerful not to. Okay, bud, you can stop now.